So if you want to make pie, you need your butt flavored Crisco. Something like 7 cups of apples and 1 cup of sugar. Whatever your recipe says for cinnamon in the apples, double it. Maybe even triple it if you use cheap cinnamon. I use the hot stuff from Penzeys. Alright, show you how I get the flour. Just because my niece throws a fit the way I get flour. Shake it off till it's a cup. Recipe is 3 cups all porpoise flour. Don't get the dolphin free stuff. 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 cup of the butt flavored Crisco. And the apples I get my best reviews with are a mix of McIntosh and Newtown Pippin. I like to throw a teaspoon of cornstarch in there just for good measure, because I've had a pie not set up once. And that was with a Cortland, but ever since then I just don't trust it. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Dash of nutmeg. Get that all mixed together and set it aside. Time to work on the crust. So you got your 3 cups flour, 1 cup butt flavored Crisco, and 1 teaspoon of salt. You got your fancy dancy pastry blender, but if you don't have this, you can use 2 knives and cut forever. And you just start blending it. If you want a pastry blender, I suggest getting the kind with the blades. The other kinds are pretty much junk. So you get it cut up to about like that. If you're using 2 knives, it'll look like peas, or about the size of peas. Get it very well blended at this point. I've heard Rachel Ray say that if you blend too much at this point, it gets tough. Bitch don't know shit. You can blend this forever and it ain't gonna get tough. And now is where you add in your 5 tablespoons of cold water. This is the point where you can no longer mix it too. So this is the tip. If you're having problems with tough pies, don't get a fork in there and stir it up. Flip it. And I used the whole 5 tablespoons of water. The next tip will show why I don't have a problem with doing that. And if you need to get your fork in there, it's to get this dry bits off the side. Don't flip the wet bits. And you can feel all your clumps. Make sure you don't have any that are too wet. If you do, break them up. Don't mix them up, just break them apart. And if you dump it in like I do, you probably have some big ones, and those would be the wet ones. Like this one's sure to be wet on the inside, so you break it up. Okay, so now you got that. We want to clump all this together into 2 baseballs, about softball size. Okay, 1 piece of wax paper, a little bit bigger than your pie pan. 1 piece of plastic wrap, same size. Take your soft ball of pastry, smash it out. Take your plastic wrap, put it over top. This has the added benefit of keeping dog hair off it. Now you just roll it out. And your plastic wrap's going to get wrinkly all through this, so you're going to have to peel it up and stick it down a few times. Just stick it right back down. For lining the bottom of the pie pan, you want to use the plastic wrap. So you flip it over. Peel off the wax paper. None of that folding and rolling type crap. You just lift up the plastic wrap, it sticks to it, and you fit it down in. Don't stretch it down in. The plastic wrap will help you some, but it won't make it perfect. And if you don't know, you don't stretch them in, because if you stretch them in, as it cooks, it'll shrink up and pull away. Get ready to do your top. You just peel off the plastic wrap. Place it on the top. At this point, I like to, can you see it? Get a little water on the outside of this so it doesn't dry out and start cracking. Plus this will help the top stick to it. Now you put your apples in the pie. If you do it like this, it takes forever, but they fit really nice. And every piece is loaded with apples. Since my apples are frozen, they're soft, and my nieces are fresh, they're hard. What I'm doing is I'm making sure I get a layer of my nieces everywhere in there. Once I get that done, I'm free to dump. Don't be surprised if it's heaped up. Apples do that. They cook down an awful lot. Now you can either add about a tablespoon of butter to the top or not. It's optional. Sometimes I do, most times I forget. Cut it up in chunks and sprinkle them around. I've never had anybody say anything whether I put butter in it or not, so I don't think it really matters. So now we're ready to put the top on. Peel the plastic off this time. Pick up the wax paper, line it up and drop it on. You measure around, pinch it off at the roughly the same spot all the way around. And now you roll it in. Kind of start rolling it. Get it started the first round, and the second time you're rolling it in about equal with the pie plate. Take your 2 fingers on the outside, 1 finger on the inside, and you pinch. Your oven's been preheating to 425 this whole time. You want it really hot. And apple pies go for about 50-55 minutes. So you need something to protect the crust. You can use a pie ring, or you can put aluminum foil around the outside. I like a pie ring because I am the pie mon. And you cut your design in it. This is to let the steam escape, or else you'll blow the top off the pie. Now ready to put it in the oven for 50 minutes. Check it again. Or if it's not done in 50 minutes, let it go 5 more. If it starts overflowing at any time, like 45 minutes, it's done. If it's brown at 50 minutes and hasn't overflowed, it's done. If it's not brown at 55 minutes and hasn't overflowed, let it go. And with this pie ring, you can just leave them on. If you're using aluminum foil, pull it off in the last 15 minutes. Alright, the pie is overflowing. Boiling over, so it's ready. Got your cooling rack. You need a cooling rack. Put the side that was boiling over on the uphill side and kind of tilt your cooling rack down. Don't try that at home, kids. Many years of working with fire has my fingertips with no feeling. So there's the pie. Let it cool totally before cutting into it. And as it cools, the top will sink in. I'll probably be setting this outside and get it cool faster. Hope the cats and jammer kids stay away from it.